Hi guys, welcome to another Divi Theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. We got a great little one for you today. We've got an image here, as you can see, it's got that sort of Android type fella in the middle there. But if you look at it, the background is sort of fading in, it's blurring out, and then it's getting sharp again. I've got a 10-second cycle going on this, and it really brings out the features on that Android guy when it blurs it out the back. Really nice little effect to have on your site. Really easy to do too. And of course, if you want to, you can make it interactive. I've got one down here with this young lady. Same thing, background sort of blurring in and out every 10 or so seconds. And we've just thrown a little call to action button on the top there. Like I say, these are fantastic things to have on your site. Things like this happen. It really does get people's eyeballs on it quickly. And that's exactly what you want with your website. So let's get started. I'm going to enable the Visual Builder. Once enabled, let's roll down to where we want to work. And I'm going to get rid of this whole row here and we'll start from scratch. We'll just trash that. Okay, well, let's add a new row. I'm going to go to the row above, hit the little green button to add a new row. I'm going to chuck a single column in mine. And for this today, I'm going to use a little image module. Let's roll down, find a little image module. There we go. And we'll roll this up. Click on the placeholder to add whatever image you want. And this is the one that we're going to have sort of on top. In other words, it's going to be the person. And you want a transparent PNG for this. I've got the Android chap. I've got this young lady. I've got another one here. I usually cut these out in Photoshop. If you don't have that sort of software, just Google remove background from image. And there's plenty of free ones out there. I've actually done these with Night Cafe that do it automatically for you. You can find that link down below if you're interested. So let's throw something in. I guess we'll have our little lady again. And there she is right there. Now, of course, you can link this actual image if you want to by going to the link down below. You can either have it open in a lightbox, which for this particular build is not a good idea because this is really something that's got to stay within the row right there. So I'm going to leave that, but you can link it so when they click on this image, it'll take them somewhere. I'm going to leave that blank for the moment. Don't need a background in there at the moment, but you'll notice when I hover over this thing, it's got this crazy number here. Like I said earlier, this was generated by Night Cafe, this particular image. So that's a sort of random alphanumeric number. If you want to change that or get rid of it completely, which I do, you can go over to Advanced in the image module, down to Attributes, and there it is. That's the random name that was generated with this AI image here. You can either change it, something more pertinent, or just delete it altogether. I'm going to delete mine altogether. Fantastic. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is add the background image itself. And to do that, we want to go into the row. I'm actually going to go into the column that it's sitting in right here. Always find background under content. I'm going to go down to background. Third tab along is image. And we're going to throw in the background image by hitting the little plus key there. And let's use this one today. As you can see, that's in there. That's a nice little image just on its own there. But we want to sort of, as you saw earlier, make that image blur out. It'll make her sharper looking. And after that, I'll show you how you can add a call to action button or whatever text you want over the top of this very easily. So let's do that. I'm going to save my column settings. That takes us back to the main row. I'm going to save that. We're going to go back into the image here. I'm going to write a little bit of CSS code, and it's really easy. If we go over to Advanced, Custom CSS, we're using the Freeform CSS tab. Now to select this young lady here, I just have to right selector to select the module, SELECTOR, open and close some curly brackets. Inside, we can tell it what we want it to do. Well, I want it to animate, so I'm going to say animation. Then put a colon. Then we have to come up with a name. Let's say IM for image. BKG for background, that's my shorthand. Call it what you want, but it wants to be unique. I'm going to have mine running for about 10 seconds, 10s, and I want it to keep going and going. So I'm going to say infinite. And these CSS animations are wonderful things to do, and as you'll see, they're really easy. Now to make this animation called IMBKG, image background there, we need to use keyframes. So if we drop down a bit like stop frame animation, it gives us a 10-second time period and we can decide what we want to do with our image over that 10 seconds. So I'm going to say at keyframes, KEYFRAMES, then the name that we gave it, which was image background, BKG. Now we can open and close some more curly brackets. Inside, we can tell it what we want it to do with our 10-second period right here. So at 0%, 0 and the percent sign, we'll open some more curly brackets here. I want it to be fairly sharp like that. And I'm going to be using a backdrop filter to do this with blur. And you may get a little flag pop up in the code here, but don't worry about it. I've tested this on all kind of browsers. I've tested it on Brave, Firefox, Edge, Chrome, to name a few, and it works absolutely perfectly. So let's say backdrop dash filter colon, and we're going to use blur today, BLUR, no gap at the end, and we'll put some round brackets in there. Well, initially I want it to be sharp, so I'm going to put just a 0 in there. In other words, it's not going to blur it at all. And there's that little flag I was talking about, unknown property backdrop filter. Now when it gets about halfway along our 10 seconds, 5-second mark, I want that to blur out, and then I want it to come back in at the end of our 10 seconds. So I'm going to copy our first entry there, the 0%, Control C, and drop down a little bit more. I'm going to paste it in. And again, I'm going to go inside our little round brackets there. I'm going to change the 0 to 10 pixels px. And you'll now see that to start blurring out there. As you can see, it's doing it for us right there. Now I've got both of those as 0. I want to change this one to 50%. So it's halfway along. Now, as you can see, that's blurring in and out. When it blurs out, that makes that young lady a lot sharper. And it will get your eyeballs on it, which I said earlier is a great thing. Great, well now we've got this, and like I say, don't worry about those flags, they seem to work perfectly. Let's save it, make sure it's all going to work on the front end. So I'm going to hit the little purple button, save draft or publish if you're ready. Let's exit the Visual Builder. And we'll roll on down to where we were working. This young lady right here. As you can see, we've got our background in there. It's blurring out, which is sharpening her up. Wonderful thing for images. But also, if you'd like to add a bit of interactivity to it, like we could link her, like I said earlier on, but I actually want to add maybe a call to action button and a little bit of text over the top here. Really easy to do. So let's show you how to do that. I'm going to re-enable my Visual Builder. And we'll roll down to that little image right there. To add something over the top of this, I'm just going to put it below initially. So I'm going to add a new module, whatever it is you want to add to yours. A little dark tab for the module this time. I'm going to use call to action because it's got a little button on it. And you won't see the button until we actually put a link in. So let's go ahead and do that by rolling down to link. Great. And there's our button. Obviously, put it where you want to take it. If you want to link the whole module here to somewhere, you can put another link in here. But that's going to work fine for me. I don't want any background in there. So let's roll down a little bit further to the background. It's a color. So I'm going to hit the trash can and get rid of it. Now, what I want to do, as you can see, is it expanded our background image over this module too. What I want to do is scoot this module up over the top of our young lady there. Easiest way to do that is over in advanced. We'll roll down to position. I'm going to change it from default to absolute. And it looks like it's disappeared. It's actually on the top of our image now because we've got it positioned at the top here. Got a little matrix here. I want mine to be at the bottom somewhere down here. Obviously position yours where you want. So I'm going to use bottom middle right there. And that's just about right. But you may have noticed we've got a little bit of space at the bottom where this lady's lifting off the bottom of the picture there. That's not going to work for us. And also it's not blurring out right at the bottom there. Easy fix. Let's just save our call to action settings there. I'm going to go back into the image module itself. Dark tab for the module. If we go over design and spacing, there's a little button there that says show space below the image. We're going to flip it from yes to no. And she's now sitting back on the bottom. If you wanted to adjust the actual position of this text, You can do so very easy as well. I should have showed you that while we're in there. Back into the call to action, back over to advanced and position where we positioned it. You can have a vertical offset if you want to. Slide it up, you'll see it coming up. Slide it down, you'll see it going down. I was happy where mine was. And with all things Divi, if you don't like what you've just done, just go in there, or you can either X out and it'll go back to how it was, or just delete the value you've put in and it'll go back to the default view. And that's going to work for me. And again, when that blur background comes in, that writing is a lot easier to read. And that's a great little thing to have on your site, as we mentioned earlier. So let's save our changes now. We'll exit the Visual Builder, save draft or publish if you're ready, and make sure this is going to work. We'll roll on now. There's our first one. Here's our second one with a bit of interactivity going on there. As you can see, let's just roll that up a little bit more. Background's blurring out over our 10-second cycle. If you want to slow it down, just make that 10 seconds a higher number, 15 or 20 seconds, and you'll see the difference there. But that's great. We did this for a client recently, and they absolutely loved it. And of course, it'll work on tablet and mobile too. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. Don't forget, if you've got any questions, pop them down below the video. I'll do my best to answer them for you, or make a little demo video just like this one. If you have enjoyed this today, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie with System22 and WebDesignAndTechTips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.